I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back. MMA Analysis Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Primetown. Joined again this week by the Kentucky Sosman, Wes Kelvin, and everybody's favorite Canadian teenager, New Sean. Wes, I hear you're having a heat wave, breaking records down there after record colds. What's going on here?
Man, I don't.
You got the air conditioner on yet?
No, the central air is still off. You know, that good old global warming. You know, it's fucking fun, man. Yeah, good times down here, man. Talk some more fights. We had a pretty good card. Kentucky basketball's still good. I won't go on another long rant. I had Jeremy. I saw your tweets.
Falling asleep listening to you guys fucking yammer on about
talk sports. He said everything but MMA analysis. It's like, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, good times, man. Cars are on track this week, dude. This weekend. Got the old rednecks turning left coming back, so pretty happy.
Rednecks turning left. New Sean, I heard you're having record cold again.
Not record for us. It's. Well, I mean, it's not the usual, but it's nothing too crazy. It's minus 38 Fahrenheit with the wind chill, which is minus 39 Celsius. That's when it crosses over. It doesn't really matter. It's all fucking cold. So, yeah, just got to enjoy that. Vehicles barely start and shit like that. It's good times. Yeah,
that sounds really, really like something I'd want to do.
Oh, yeah. It's actually I'm out working in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. That's it's a pretty
wherever that is.
Exactly. It's a pretty classy place. I actually hit a snowbank yesterday and had to dig my rental truck out. So that was fun to do in minus 25, minus 30 degree weather. So yeah, good times.
That's fun to do anywhere, if I have to say so.
Yeah.
So we had a pretty good UFC card last week down in the great pioneer country of Brazil. 7 undercard fights and then the 6 main card fights. The first fight, Magomed Bibulatov and Rogerio Bontorin, man. For as much hype as Bibulatov has gotten, I mean, you could have made a case he won this fight, but man, you can't be getting in that close of a fight with Rogerio Bontorin, and the judges could go either way. This has been one of the bigger disappointments in the UFC in terms of a prospect that I can remember.
Wes and I tried to warn you.
I took a little the plus 290, nothing big, but yeah, it was shaping up to be that type of fight, man. Still, that's a bad loss. You're right though. You could argue that he won that fight. I think you could. Still, you can't be getting into close fights with.
No, that's the thing.
Not when you're minus 3.5 or minus 350, minus 400 favorite.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's just not good. Anyway, New Sean, any thoughts on this one?
No, just like you said, disappointing. It's tough when you got a flyweight like this. That, I mean, he does have finishes, but he was nowhere close to finishing in this fight, and you leave it in the hands of the judges. Look what happens. So it's you got to be worried about laying minus 350 on flyweights and even just anybody in general when they don't seem to finish.
You could tell he was the better guy,
Oh,
which
for
is
sure.
what the bad thing is. I mean, you could just tell he's far more talented. He just doesn't put it all together, man. You got to be able to put it all together. He just doesn't do it.
I mean, he still might. He's still
Yeah.
pretty young. It's just those are some tough losses at his start of his UFC career. I mean, he's 30 years old. It's not like he's crazy young.
Yeah.
So it's not a good look. I don't know what they're going to do with him now. With flyweight, who knows what they're doing with it. He might be done in the UFC.
Next fight. A 1-2 on the year and these
Damn.
consensus bets. Don't like a losing streak. Yeah, this one we really missed. Said Nurmagomedov apparently became a kicking specialist overnight, finishing Ricardo Ramos. Woof. That's all I'm going to say here. Wes.
Yeah, I mean, Khabib's cousin turned into fucking Ernesto Hoost overnight or some shit. Yeah, I mean, we completely whiffed on this one. I mean, it's hard to cap a guy that doesn't strike like that, connecting with a body kick and taking him out in a couple minutes. But, hey, I mean, I'd rather have him like that than have some close split decision loss. Just get it out of the way and let's move on.
Hey, Sean.
I thought Saeed looked pretty good on the feet. Now, I don't know if that's because Ramos was that bad on the feet or what it was.
He looks scared. I don't know what it
was, but Saeed looked like he's definitely improved his stand-up game, which will go along with his wrestling game. So I guess we'll see what comes next. But yeah, that was a tough loss on Ramos. Didn't really seem like we had a chance at all.
Nope, and nope. Maybe the worst fight on the card, Geraldo de Freitas defeated Felipe Colares. Yeah, I have nothing to say here. Wes, I assume you have nothing.
Nah, let's move on.
This Colares guy is terrible, though. Yeah. This one really frustrated me. Junior Allen after employing a great game plan in round one. Yeah, and then he just took an ass kicking in round two when he couldn't get the takedown. Oh, man, this one. I thought I had this cap so well, and then, of course, the one thing that can't happen happens. Tough one. Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up sprinkling on Albini, too, and, yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. He was fighting a perfect fight, man. I mean, it was pretty much how he thought it was going to go. Easy takedowns and controlling, and I don't know what it is. Some of these dudes, man, I guess it's being a big fucking guy too, I guess. I mean, you get to throwing some punches and it's like, hey, fuck it, let's throw down for a second. And you just can't do that when dudes are 265 pounds. I mean, anybody can knock out anybody. So, yeah, but Albini's just another idiot. I mean, there's no other way to explain it, man. Just not continuing a very smart game plan. He paid for it.
Yeah. New Sean, any thoughts here?
Yeah, this is just another one that I wanted to dodge. Like you said, Albini got it down,
right.
but he's a shitty heavyweight, and shitty heavyweights can't finish stuff even when it gets put in the perfect situation. I'm not saying he lost because he didn't wear the diaper, but that's definitely what happened. He needs to bring back the diaper because you shouldn't be getting knocked out by this dude.
No, you definitely shouldn't be. Oh, man. Thiago Alves and Max Griffin. And this was kind of the start of the weird judging going on?
This was more than weird.
It's called bad judging. Bad fucking Brazilian
judging. This was egregious.
But no one was surprised that Alves got this fight.
Yeah, but no one's surprised because fucking judging is terrible.
That's what makes it even worse, is that none of us were surprised. That's what makes it like twice as bad. Yeah, that was egregious, man. There's no goddamn way that you couldn't judge that fight correctly. Just period. Happy for Alves, however, whatever. That was bad.
Yes.
It's rare when, like, everybody is like, that's just horrible. Even people that's got money is even saying it's bad, it's fucking bad. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, ugly.
That's pretty much it.
We had some more. I think we had some
And
more.
then the next fight, Mara Romero Barrell and Taylor Santos, another split decision. Although I thought they got this one right, but it was a good game plan by her against a striker. But again, neither is a world beater, and I'm not sure anyone cared.
It went over. That's all that fucking matters.
Here we go. Here we go. I'll say this though, my man Marcus Perez coming out with a walkout song, playing that the number one song in the Brazil. Oh my! I'm not going to get into it, but it was great. It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Anaconda choke. Anthony Hernandez really liked this. I know. This was a good way to lead up into the main card. Wes, what did you think about this fight and this performance?
Yeah, I actually was on Hernandez in this fight. I thought he was doing fairly well, man. But Perez is he's a wild man, dude. He's a tough out. That guy stayed in the fight, man, and that was some fun stuff. That choke was pretty awesome. Nushan.
Yes, Nushan.
It was
that pause means go.
My bad. Just a slick finish. I didn't touch this fight, but that was a very nice finish from Marcus Perez. Now on to awesome fucking women's fights that go over again.
Oh man, this chick.
Yep. Again, my girl Sarah. Good old Post Malone face.
There it is.
Was she the one that came out? Yeah, she came in like 7 pounds
7
over.
Pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was another weight class. Came. They said today that she's moving up a weight class. I was like, well, I fucking guess so.
No shit.
Oh man, she came out with the double Post Malone, puffy face, tattoos everywhere. Susan's a badass though, man. That little chick was in there. She was fighting, man.
That girl Froda throws some haze though, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you could have. I thought she probably won the fight personally.
She could have.
I think she actually did, man. She landed she had old girl busted up, man. She landed some powerful stuff. You're right. She throws bungalows, dude. She ain't much technique or anything to old girl. And she literally just walks forward and slings haze, man. It's fun. It was actually a pretty fun fight.
Yeah. My favorite fight on the card, though.
15 seconds.
Our boy. New friend of the MMA Analysis podcast. Johnny Walker, looking like a star, dancing like a good old Chippendales dancer, and then knocking dudes out in under 20 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
And then doing more dance moves, man. This guy's 6'5" with an 82.5-inch reach.
Yeah.
In the light heavyweight division, with a bunch with finishes back to back, quick. I mean, it's early, but there's something here, isn't there, Wes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of Twitter and that whole thing should slow their roll a little bit though, because I mean,
hype train's gonna get big
prisoner.
On this guy.
Yeah, it already is. They're already like, oh, that's the guy to beat John Jones. I saw people saying that Saturday night. Yeah, they's like, that's the future guy to beat John Jones. I'm telling you.
Come on.
It gets fucking retweeted on my fucking shit. There ain't nothing I can do about it, man. But I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we talked about him on our year preview show. That, like Jay said, I mean, the reach, the size, dude hits like a truck. Almost went full Greg Hardy, which is you never fucking go full Greg Hardy. And dude try to take off. I mean, he was in Brazil and everything. I know they like their football down there, but man, that would have been bad. It was really close, man. But yeah, dude, that guy's got some talent, man, and. Besides that, if he can be good and win and knock guys out, he's got the personality. I think we can all agree dude's funny, and he was pretty good on the mic afterwards. So he needs a guy, man. It's a pretty shallow division, so I don't think it's going to be another fight or two, man. And he's going to be getting thrown some big fights. So I'm intrigued. I think the guy's good. We'll see.
Definitely good. New Sean.
Yeah, my dart on Ledet by decision didn't even hit the fucking board. 15 seconds and it's gone. I was like, oh well.
That was terrible.
Just didn't
like
even
the complete opposite of Ledet.
didn't even start the fight. Like, holy shit, it was over. Yeah, he's a fun guy. It's always good to see Brazil. I like seeing Brazilians do well, just because I think that's a big. There's such a big fan base there, and it can create stars. So hopefully he gets another step up, and hopefully he can keep doing this thing, because if he keeps knocking these dudes out like he's doing, he could be a big deal.
Yes, he can.
Ooh, go bro.
Yeah, and once again,
Go bro.
Fucking
another Charles
star.
Du.
Yeah.
Oliveira submits a dude again, but before he did that,
Yeah.
Almost
beat up
knocked us out.
beat up a striker on the feet. What is going on here? How is he doing this? Wes, this is a classic performance from the Dubra.
He's crazy, man. He's getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like, he showed some things in that fight. We all forget that the dude's 29 years old. That's just, it's incredible. I mean, the submission record, added another one to it. The dude's still only 29 years old, man. He's improving. And hell, I even said that night, I'm sure it was, of course, being in the moment, but that's one of his best performances, I think.
Hell yeah.
Like, to do that to Tamer, like, Tamer is for real. That guy's no joke, especially on the feet. And Oliveira fucking tooled him, man. Like, he completely tooled him. And you got to factor in that the threat of a takedown and submission is always there for strikers against him. But, man, that was far beyond that. That was a clinic, man. The opener on Oliveira there was still funny. But even, like, he was still around even money most of the week leading up to the fight. And I thought that was still kind of bad. But, yeah, I'll take it, man. Oliveira, I mean, you're going to have to start giving him some fights there, man. Don't ever talk about going to 45 again. I hope I don't hear that mentioned by him. Just put on your body. You're getting older. Stay at 55. I know he called out Kevin Lee. I mean, would anybody be shocked if he choked out Kevin Lee at a nice plus number? Absolutely not. I wouldn't. Give me Chucky against Kevin Lee. I'll take some more plus money in that matchup.
That's fair. Yeah, that would be interesting. This, in hindsight, might have been one of the worst lines that I can remember.
Yeah.
Maya was under minus 200 against Lyman Good.
Beautiful.
And Lyman never had a chance, did he?
Didn't land a strike.
No.
Didn't land a strike, never had a chance.
The David Maya special.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people, you tried to, like, discuss and, like, make cases for Good, and I mean, the fight was only ever going to end one way. That was it. Down in Brazil, like, Maya was always going to take this guy's back and choke him. He did. Yeah. I didn't have much on him. I kind of added late because that was I kind of thought Good might catch him with something. The dude's been on fucking Ecto Cooler, and the beatings Maya, the fights Maya has had, his past 3 fights is literally against the 3 best welterweights in the world. And he took some beatings, man. So but I ended up adding him late. I mean, I think he was like minus 170 or something in Brazil. And like you said, hindsight, holy shit, what a bad line. Yeah, I mean, happy for Maya though, dude. If there's a nicer dude in MMA, I don't know him. He's a legit good dude, and happy for him. I hope he starts thinking about maybe calling it though, man, because dude's getting up there in age. Maybe go grapple. Do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, something, I don't know. But I don't want to see him fighting the top 2 or 3 Which, what do you do with Damian Maia at this point? The guy's got the name. He still wins against these guys like Lyman Good. Like, the only really fights for him are really good dudes, and I just don't think he beats some of the wrestlers at 170, and it's going to end up adding up. So hopefully he thinks about quitting soon, but we all know how that usually goes. Exactly.
Nushan, any thoughts here?
Yeah, this like I said, this is the Damian Maia special. Just grabs a hold of you, switches from a single leg to a double leg, rides you out for a bit. You might fend him off for a tiny bit, then somehow you make just a tiny error. He's on your back, and before you know it, it's over. When you don't fight a NCAA championship wrestler, you are pretty fucked against Damian Maia. Like, he gets you. He gets you. If you aren't Woodley, Usman, or Covington, you are in tough against Damian Maia. Like Wes said, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. Maybe if they keep throwing him guys like Lyman Good, I mean, you might as well just cash challengers, cash those checks. But he's done.
He'll challengers.
He's done fighting those top three guys. So I don't know what you're gonna do with him, but I'll keep betting him against not those guys. Anybody else, and he can do some serious business in a pretty short amount of time.
Next bout up, co-main event.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And what was a really interesting first round, feeling each other out. Second round, quite a bit different as Jose Aldo poured it on in pretty memorable fashion and forcing the referee to stop in. Then he jumps out of the cage, does like one of those Habib karate chop things into the crowd.
It was awesome.
It was pretty awesome, right? Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was another cool moment. Yeah, I mean, said it coming in, man. I mean, I think we got to look now and like Aldo just lost to the greatest featherweight ever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it is. The dude is still one of the greatest fighters on the planet. I mean, Moicano is legit. That kid is like a great fighter, and Aldo just demolished him. It was awesome. I can't believe Aldo was plus money to this dude. The only thing I can say is repeat that Aldo just lost to the greatest featherweight ever. He's probably the second, and the dude still shows that he still got it there. I don't. The retirement talk's starting to come up, so going forward, I'm actually probably going to have more questions going forward about Aldo because I don't think I've ever heard him start talking about retirement, and he is now. So that's he was talking about it coming into this fight though, and look what happened. But Aldo in Brazil at plus money, come on, man! Like if it ain't Max Holloway, that's a hammer. And yeah, I hammered him in this fight, and there's few that I like to see win and perform like that than Jose Aldo, and it was awesome. It was fucking awesome to watch.
Nushan, your thoughts here? Did you hammer this bout as well?
Did not hammer it. I added Aldo late. I was kicking myself that I didn't grab the plus 150, but when it got to plus 125, plus 130, I had to take it. Aldo is a beast, and in 3-round fights, man, he is a different person. He knows he doesn't have to pace himself, and he can throw fucking hammers. That first round, it was more measured. He was kind of trying to figure out Moicano, figured out that he wasn't going to be able to get him with just single punches, and then that second round came, and he was throwing combos and just
that body shot,
and then hook. The hammers that he throws, it's beautiful to watch. He has extremely good hands for MMA, and his defense is really good too. So I kind of hope they just keep booking him in 3-round fights because he's a lot of fun to watch in those fights.
Yeah, it was a really good performance, and I don't know what's next. If he's going to move up to lightweight for a couple, for some different bouts, I guess if he's all he really has, 2 fights left, he's going to kind of pick and choose who he wants to face. So it should be pretty interesting. The sport will absolutely lose, a legend when he retires. I mean, he's one of the, I don't know what to call it, MMA 2.0, but one of the he was one of the guys that kind of led MMA to the next, to its next point. In terms of athleticism and real athletes competing in the sport.
Yeah, and to all the fucking Twitter nerds out there, like, respect that man. Like, I can't stand like the disrespect of Aldo at this stage just because of the Conor knockout. Like, and it's all the beginning of the Conor fanboys and shit that kind of started all that. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, and then the dude turns around and beats guys like Marcano and Jeremy Stevens and stuff like that. Respect that. The problem is they ain't watched this sport long enough to understand how great this dude was and still is. Like, respect that dude. He's a legend in this sport.
Don't feed the trolls. Just keep them out your mind. You'll live a better life, Wes.
It gets me, man. I'm having a heart attack at like awesome. 51.
Just as importantly, maybe even more importantly, in what
he's the real
in hindsight should have been our consensus bet, since we all pretty much liked it. Marlon Moraes, the Magic Man, easily beat Rafael Assunção. I mean, once he landed his, the first clean shot, dropped him, kind of went after him, then he surprisingly got a choke. And man, a good win for Marlon. But if anyone played the submission prop, it was upwards over plus 1,700.
Oh my!
Can you believe that? Plus 1750.
Fuck.
Those were the numbers. Wow.
That's insane.
I think he deserves the title fight next.
Of course.
I don't know. Are they going to do something with Cejudo? What are they doing? Moraes should be the guy. Wes, how good was this?
I mean, he's the next champ. He's the next champ. I don't care who he fights there. I think he beats TJ. I mean, I think he mop up Cejudo, but I mean, I think we all thought he was like really good coming from World Series of Fighting. Like, he's always been a really good guy. But he's gone up a couple steps, man, since he started UFC. It's just incredible. Trains with just some of the absolute top level guys and trainers, and it shows, man. The guy's just. I talked about last week, man. He's peaking. He's like a fucking horse, man. They got the guy peaking in his career, and you just don't do a Sun-Sal like he did. That's just incredible, man. I mean, we all thought that was going to be a tough fight.
That guy never gets finished.
No, that's why you don't do it. A Sun-Sal's legit in his own right. I mean, he's really good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I kind of hope TJ just comes back and fights. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. We don't know what they're doing with 125. I think our boy Aaron mentioned maybe doing the Benavidez, Cejudo, TJ, Moraes, and then if they're going to do
the bantam.
Yeah.
So for some perspective, this was the first time a Sun-Sal was finished in a fight in 8 years.
Yeah. Somebody
8 years. And submissions, it was 9 years.
Yeah, the only other time was Uriah Faber.
The only 2 times it's been finished was Eric Koch. That was Eric Koch's best. Remember that was when Eric Koch was surging, and wasn't he actually scheduled to be in a title fight?
And he turned it down.
And then he never got it back because then he got his. And then he never was the same fighter. Then Uriah Faber submitted him back in WEC in Sacramento. So that's it. So all the guys the Sun-Sals fought from, Moraes before, and Sterling and Dillashaw and Caraway, Pedro Munoz, Dillashaw multiple times, Mike Easton, who was doing well, Johnny Eduardo. I mean, there's a lot of guys, and Moraes is the one who finishes them and does so in pretty quick fashion.
With diarrhea.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, and can we not forget that this dude had to fight the entire time thinking, I might literally blow fucking diarrhea all over myself.
Yeah, let's not forget about that. He did a YOLO.
So yeah, I guess we know.
You gotta get your dude wipes. Shout out to dude wipes.
Like we got to give this dude extra props, like straight up.
And we know why the money came in. Obviously, that information leaked, and people started hammering on Sun's out. But I guess I'll take that and take that to the bank.
Matter.
Yeah,
It
that
really
was
doesn't
impressive.
matter, apparently.
The way he finished that choke was unbelievable. Just shows how well-rounded Moraes is. He's a motherfucker.
That's one of my favorite chokes is when the guys like flip over and they hold the choke like that inverted, inverted guillotine.
Yeah, and he was in the air, like none of his body was touching the ground. It was amazing.
I get it.
I get it. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that was an
That's a pretty good
awesome card.
Yeah.
And the pacing was
graded it
unreal.
7-7. I thought it was good. 7-7's pretty good for me.
How good was that pacing?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Solid.
can we also talk about the fight card being over at 10:30 East Coast? Like, hell yeah. They're moving it back an hour for all of them, man. I think the next ESPN Plus card is going to start at like 4:30 or something like that.
Well, I think what it is, it's local time. It depends where it is. So it basically, if the card is in the Eastern time zone, then it's going to start at the main card's going to start at 8 Eastern time. And then obviously if it's Central, it'll be 8 Central time. Like it's just they're going to base it on wherever the fight card is, which is awesome for the people who are paying a shit ton of money to watch these fights in person. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Moving over, also in the Southern Hemisphere, but moving thousands of miles away to Australia and the land of the Australian Open. You know, just a few weeks ago, Novak Djokovic won another title.
Jockstrap.
Trying to hold his place at the Australian Open.
He's right there.
Now Robert Whittaker will be trying to hold his place in Aussie folklore as he main events this UFC 234 pay-per-view. Oh man, this fight card is not a 7-7. It's a pretty poorly put together event, save the final 2 fights, which it's just kind of what boxing does. So I can't hate it that much, but
next week's
we'll start
free card is way stronger.
Well, yeah, there's reasons for that too. We'll start off, and I'm not sure how much time we want to spend on some of these prelim fights because they are pretty terrible, but I can't believe I'm mentioning this name first. Luigi Buren, he's back, taking on good old boy Jonathan Martinez. Wes, describe Luigi Buren. I have a feeling you know what the word is.
Do it. Give it to him.
He is terrible! He's a legitimate F-grade, terrible fighter. This is what we're starting off with. Why not? It's Australia. Why wouldn't we start off with a terrible fighter losing a fight over some random guy, right?
Yeah, this card it's not the greatest for a pay-per-view card. Holy shit, but yeah, what better way to start off a marginal card with a
less than marginal fight?
This is the guy that lost to Rolando Dye by decision. Okay,
that's very bad.
Yeah, body punch dropped and shit by fucking Marlon Vera and shit. Yeah, this is one of a bunch of fights early that Martinez should win this fight. His price is actually a little bit better than some of the other faves that I'm going to talk about. So probably, worth a little shot if you really think that Buren's that terrible, and he probably is. But it's hard for me to trust almost any one of these faves coming up. But pick is going to be Martinez here because you're right. I don't like this card much for betting, so I'm not going to be trusting my money on too many of these guys on this card.
I can't blame you. New Sean.
Yeah, Burns a dumpster fire. Martinez didn't look terrible against Soup Can Tai, but I don't really want to trust him. I'll pick Martinez. Maybe if it drops a bit more and I'm bored and want to just throw away some money, I'll put some money on Martinez.
We always do.
Yeah,
I got Martinez graded a D, Buren rated an F. I saw enough from Martinez against Soup Can Tai that he should have very little problem with Walesia Buren. Buren is one of the worst fighters on the roster. 11-6. Again, he lost to Orlando Dye. He has no business being in the organization. He really doesn't. It's shocking that he's still here. So I'll take Martinez, and I'll likely be betting it. I do. I won't eat rat shit in Calcutta if he loses, but next up, Callan Potter from Australia making his UFC debut, taking on talented striker Jalen Turner. Wes, thoughts here?
Yeah, that's another one. Turner should absolutely win this fight. Potter's a Caucasian, oceanic, kind of
like Dick Gruzic.
Yeah, just slow plotter. Turner should eat him alive, but at the price, man, coming off getting knocked out by Luke A. Guy on Twitter posts a lot of short videos of fighters, and man, this kid's been knocked out a few times already in his career, and he's only like 23, and knocked out slick. So that's hard to trust when a guy's already been slicked that many times at 23. But he should absolutely beat Potter in this fight. Do I trust him at minus 230? I don't. I don't trust the other dude either. He's terrible. Should lose, but I can't bet Turner. He'll be a pick in Top Master, but yeah, pass on a bet.
New Sean.
This is going to be a trend. This is definitely going to be a fight card where it's more show me what you got or don't got, and I will judge accordingly for next time, because a lot of these guys, they have either 0 or 1 fight in the UFC, and you just don't know what to expect. Like Wes said, Turner's been knocked in 3 of his 4 losses. He's been knocked out. Knocked out last time just in October. You're always worried about young guys getting knocked out, how they're going to react to that. So staying away. I think Turner is definitely the much more skilled fighter, and I'll pick him, but not touching it with money.
Yeah, I have Turner a D+, Potter a D-. I've seen enough from Potter that really slow feet, likes to push guys towards the cage. He's kind of Dan Kelly in his approach. I think he's trained with Dan Kelly as well. Goes through these trip takedowns, but doesn't pack much punch. Again, just a huge athleticism gap in this bout. Turner could pepper him with strikes. I think he just runs circles around Potter and gets the win, likely by knockout. So that's my take. 325 a bit much, but we'll see. Next up, we got another undercard bout between Lando. What's his weird middle nickname?
It's Groovy.
What's it? Groovy, right? The Groovy one, Venata, taking on something called Marcos Rosa. I don't know if anyone cares.
Yeah, Rosa just horrible, man, and Venata should tool on this guy, man. But we know how crazy Venata gets, all the way over and fucking wherever the fuck. You want to lay almost 4-1 on Venata here? It's hard for me to do. I'll have to pick him because he should tool this guy, but I can't bet him in the spot.
No, that would not be smart. New Sean.
I might put $10 on draw in this fight.
That's interesting.
Venata's been in 2 draws in his last 3 fights. He just the way he fights, like he can have big rounds and then he can kind of gas, or he can get the shit beat out of him, but then he can kind of pull out fights. Like he's got a style that he can get beat on, or he can do the beating on, but it seems like he can stay in fights. I cannot lay minus 400 with Landon Venata at this point in his career, even if this guy that he's fighting is 6-4 in his career.
And fighting in like some promotions you've never even heard of.
Yep. He lost.
That
his
sounds like
second
Sage
last
Northcutt's
fight.
record, bro.
Yeah, he lost his second last fight. Like, I don't know what garage they pulled this guy from, but
probably Glover's.
He was hanging out in Glover's.
Yep.
Glover's garage in Danbury, Connecticut, right?
We added a double door. We can do
Yeah, we got a gym on one side and we got my wife's Volvo on the other.
Landon Venata is usually in fun fights, so it should be a fun fight regardless of how it goes. So that'll be fun at least.
Yeah, I don't have a grade yet for Rose. I got Venata C-. He's a guy who contends to, he can really compete against top, higher level fighters. But I feel like he fights to the level of his competition, which is never a good sign. Not someone you really like to bet as a big favorite. So I will absolutely pass here. Next fight up, one I'm looking forward to just because
it should be wild. I think it's wild.
Ishihara, he's back taking on Kyung-Ho Kang, who I think is back from military duty. Is that correct?
No, he just fought.
Yeah, he fought not that long ago. But I'm pretty sure before that he was on.
Before that,
Oh yeah, he had 2 fights. He had a 4-year break between the 4
split decision against Ramos in his last bout, and Guido Canetti, sub before that. I mean, Ramos split decisions. No, that's not bad. So that kind of tells you his level. Okay, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, Kang should smash Ishihara. I mean, honestly, you want to talk about a guy that, his only win in the past few years is Rolando Dai. You know what I'm saying? So, the guy's fun, man. He's out there. He's funny, man. But he'll make it exciting. But he's going to get smashed on in this fight. And this is a fave I trust to win, but man, minus 425. I'd rather not, man. there's too many things. The travel and stuff changes a lot of things for me with faves and stuff like this. You just never know. So, Kang is going to win, but I can't lay minus 425.
Nushan.
Yeah, Ishihara is fucking terrible.
I'm glad.
I don't know how he's still around, dude. Like, seriously.
Dude lost a 3-round fight to Flobov. Gray Maynard.
Now he's been training with Faber and his team and still can't defend the takedown.
I don't know what the hell this guy is doing. I think this is going to be his last fight. I don't want to lay minus 425 with Kang in this fight, even with Ishihara being absolutely terrible. Maybe look at Sub. Sub is plus 200. It's kind of came down. People have hit it. He has a shit ton of subs, and Ishihara is not great. He's only been subbed once. He got KO'd in his last fight, but I think you got to go prop wise. I would not lay juice for Kang on this one.
Points might be interesting if it's somewhere around minus 220 or something.
Yeah, if it's like minus 425, it should be around minus 200, minus 190, something like that.
Yeah, he's going to smash Ishihara here. He really should.
Will he though?
That's the question.
That is the question.
If you saw that button up shirt that Ishihara was wearing today with all the old 1970 Playboy covers kind of sprinkled all over it, you'd be like, "There's no way this guy can lose."
But he will.
But he will. Yeah.
I got Ishihara D, Kang a C-. I mean, there's a huge, clean path to victory for Kang. I mean, he's such a better wrestler, and Ishihara struggles to defend takedowns. I mean, look how many times Flobov took him down, for Christ's sake. Man, Kang should be able to secure takedowns at will here. He could let him back up, he could keep taking him down. I mean, I don't know if Kang even needs to land a punch in this fight in order to win it. He could have like 15 takedowns and win this thing. So I'm going to go with Kang to win. I think that's a pretty easy bet. Yeah, until Ishihara proves to me he can keep a fight standing, I don't think he's going to be able to win in the UFC. That's the story. Kai Kara France taking on Rulian Paiva. This could be a sneaky good fight, I think. Wes.
Yeah. This should be a pretty fun sort of kickboxing match, I think. Man, it's just, I'm going to sound like a broken record for most of these fights, but I think France is probably a little bit better at this point. But I haven't seen enough of Paiva to really judge him too much. It's probably close enough to where there's just no way I can. France should win. I don't want to take a chance on the dog here, but France is going to be the pick. Just another kind of big fave that I just want to sit back and watch this fight and move on from there.
All right, Nushan.
Yeah, like Wes said, it should be a fairly fun fight. France, from what we saw on Tough and in his first fight actually in the UFC, he's a pretty fun guy. Don't know much about his opponent. The one thing that I was looking at in this fight and played goes to decision. We all know flyweights, there isn't too many finishes. And I was able to get it at minus 170. I think that's pretty cheap considering how many decisions both these guys have been to. So I put that in a parlay, and I'll pick France, but that's another big number, like Wes said, that don't feel comfortable laying.
Yeah, I have not done my review yet of Paiva, but that's one I'm actually looking forward to doing because I think he's actually pretty good. He's 18-1. He's only 23 years old, 70-inch reach, about 5'9", 5'10" in the flyweight division. Gives him a lot of size. He already holds wins over Alan Nascimento, who's a pretty good prospect, 17-4 in his own right. He also owns a submission win over Iliardi Santos, who used to be in the McCall, a pretty competitive fight some years back. So the guy has certainly faced some decent fighters and holds a really respectable record. But France, was really impressive in his first fight in the UFC as well. So I think this is going to be one of the best fights on the undercard, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'll refrain from, any further analysis at this point. Shane Young and Austin Arnett in the featherweight division. I mean, if Lance was on here tonight, he'd say, why is he wouldn't know who either of these guys are, right? I mean, Austin Arnett sounds like a pro wrestler name, and Shane Young could just be some Joe off the street. Wes, any thoughts here? I certainly don't have any.
Yeah, I mean, Arnett's been in there with some tough guys. His last one out is against a scrub, Humberto. But I mean, Shane Young really like minus 325 here. Like seriously. Off of beating, like this is a theme. Rolando die, like they just serve up fucking.
You go to hell. You go to hell. You Rolando die.
Like I don't get it, man. This is actually a spot that, man, I think if Arnett can get this fight a little late, man, he's got some decent wrestling, and Shane Young likes to throw, man. If he starts getting a little tired, I think Arnett could get some takedowns, man, and maybe steal a couple rounds, get this thing interesting going into the third round. So I took a small little shot on Arnett here at plus 265. It's not anything I'm very, very confident in. There's just not many spots on this card, I think. So as the degenerate that I am, I need a couple spots. So. I'm going to take a little shot on Arnett here, plus 265. I think he might be able to steal a couple rounds. So, yeah, there'll be a pick in Top Master for sure and small bit.
You, Sean.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Wes, for taking that shot. That's a fairly big number for a guy that's in Shane Young. That's just I don't think he's
terrible.
He's not good,
He's a marginal
man.
guy.
He's a marginal guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing he has going for him is he's from New Zealand, so it's a close plane flight away from where this is happening. But
Yeah, but the last card in Australia, or whatever the one was in December, like didn't like a bunch of like the local fighters lose in that card? Almost all.
They were all terrible though. Like it was a bunch.
Yeah,
of
they were bad, but at least he's not fighting with jet lag and stuff like that. Is all I'm saying. But when you're lone UFC wins and Rolando die, like fuck, man. I know Austin Arnett isn't great either. The guys he lost to are pretty good. I mean, I guess the same can be said for Shane Young. He lost to Volkanovski, but I just don't want my money. I'll probably pick Arnett in Toutmaster, but I just don't want money on Austin Arnett because he's pretty terrible too.
That's fair. I got Arnett a D-, and Shane Young a D. I'm kind of the West thought process that, I mean, neither guy is really great. I mean, they're both kind of just like tough guys without much technical ability. I mean, Young has some decent striking skills, but he shouldn't be a -300 favorite versus anybody. I think this is a Toutmaster Arnett play, and you hope for the best. We'll move up to the headliner of the prelim card on TV. I mean, I can't believe these 4 fights are being put on TV. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, now they're really going to see what the UFC's potential is on ESPN. It doesn't get worse than this one. You have Dong Young Ma, also known as Dong Young Kim.
It's Lil Dong.
Taking on Little Dong. He's no Tito Dong. We get it. Taking on Devontae Smith. Wes.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I mean, Smith is probably the little bit better guy here. But man, little Dong, man, he gets in some scraps, man. He makes it really tough for guys. And I mean, I haven't went back and watched the fight, but Devontae Smith lost to John Gunther. Not a like just like 2 years ago. Just two years ago.
Gunther's way better than Little Dong.
What? Do you think John Gunther's better than Little Dong? I don't. Gunther's one of the worst fighters that's ever fought in the UFC. Ever.
Tony Puddings.
The dude's, he is really, really bad.
Tony Puddings, Jordan Stanya.
Well, I put him right in that category. That dude is atrocious. That's not a good loss to have just a couple years ago. I haven't went back and watched the fight, but he got finished by John Gunther. So, I'm wondering in that fight, did Gunther just take him into deep water and he wanted out? Little Dong's gonna put a pace on him. So I haven't pulled the trigger yet here, but this is just another fight. There's no way I'm laying -245 on Devontae Smith in this spot. So Lil Dong will be a pick in Toutmaster, and I'll probably end up sprinkling something on him. The line's starting to creep up just a tiny bit. Hopefully the parlay happy people get going on fight day, and he gets up to +250 or so, and I'll definitely take a shot.
All right, Nushan, anything here?
I faded Devontae Smith last time out based on the whole John Gunther loss. So I took Julian Erosa. I was like, well, maybe he can survive, the early onslaught, and Devontae Smith will get tired, and maybe Erosa can take over, and then Erosa got knocked out in 46 seconds. He's bad. So I'm hesitant to do the same thing and put some money on Lil Dong, but I still kind of think the same thing. If Lil Dong can survive, maybe he can put the pace on him and tire out Devontae Smith. The tough part is Lil Dong has been knocked out. He actually got knocked out in back-to-back fights. But that was back in 2015, 2016. I'll pick I'll pick the little dong in Toutmaster and hopefully cash some dog odds, but Devontae Smith probably knocks him out in one round because that's how it goes with this guy. At some point, somebody's going to be able to tire him out and get him, but I don't know if it's going to be a little dong.
No, it's not going to be a little dong.
It was John Gunter.
It was John Gunter, and I missed my shot.
Oh my gosh! I got Smith a C-, Dong a D. Again, athleticism gap. Just a way better striker. Dong has been hurt before and finished. Yeah, I'll take Mr. Smith here by KO. Main card. Again, it's a weird main card, but let's start it off. I can't believe Sam Alvey is opening a pay-per-view because that's what everybody wants to see.
Hey, that's Jim Crute is opening up a pay-per-view, sir.
Oh, okay. Taking on James Crute. All right, Wes. Thoughts on Mr. James Crute?
Yeah, I mean, I was searching for anybody I could on our preview show, but I mean, the kid. I mean, he's 22, man. This guy's built like a Mack truck. He's got some decent skills, man. I think he can get Sam Alvey here. I mean, this is a short notice fight. Alvey's flying all the way over there, man. And then just in the fight, Alvey doesn't throw punches. People continue to this day to talk about his power and shit. The dude's just unanimous decision after decision after decision after decision. Like he doesn't knock guys out anymore. The only guy he's knocked out in like the past 4 years is fucking Marcin Pinocchio or whatever the fuck his name is. So, I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have this huge power. He doesn't throw any punches. Crute's at home. The line's coming down a little bit. I mean, it's minus 135 now. Crute should win this fight at home. I think it's just going to be a pretty boring decision, but he'll do enough to get a decision here at home. I absolutely believe that. So, yeah, I will be betting Crute here, and he's the pick.
New Sean.
I think it was about 8 Sam Alvey fights ago that I swore I would never bet him again because the dude.
Ooh.
No, just.
Are
just,
you?
Just
Are
wait,
you?
Wait here. Just
Are
wait here.
you?
So, I swore I would never bet him again because he throws like 2 strikes around and randomly sometimes he knocks people out, but. I can't touch him in this fight. I am eyeing up fight goes to decision, and for some reason I think he's going to fuck me over by either somehow knocking this dude out or getting knocked out. So even when I don't bet on him, he's still going to screw me over. But he's gone to a bunch of decisions lately. Like Wes said, I think his power is a bit overrated. Jim Crute as well has been to a decent amount of decisions in his career. He's got a couple finishes in his UFC career on the Contender Series and then against Paul Craig, but Paul Craig is fucking garbage. So
Got that right.
I'm eyeing goes decision at minus 130, but I don't know if I can take it. I think Jim Crute is good enough to beat Sam Alvey at this point, but the dude is 22 years old. He's going to be fighting, I think, I guess last time was in Australia as well. So,
yep.
Maybe it's a pay-per-view card. I don't know if the nerves will get to him because of that, but I'd be hesitant to bet him a bit just because of his age and stuff like that. But I'll pick him.
Yeah, this is a tough fight. The call. I got Alvey a D+, Crute a D+. Alvey certainly more experienced. Crute seems like a fighter maybe coming up a bit, but I mean his debut wasn't too impressive. He does get hit a lot. Alvey won't throw a lot, but when he does, I mean he can be effective. Could Crute kind of shit the bed in this bout? Wouldn't be a shock at all to me. I just think this is a very tough fight to call. I feel a lot of Sam Alvey fights are tough to call, especially when they go to the scorecards because of lack of inactivity. I'm going to lean towards Alvey because I don't trust Crute, and I think he could have some stage fright. But again, I think this is arguably the hardest fight to pick on the entire card. Next fight up, women's fight of the night. We got Montana De La Rosa taking on Nadia Kasim. Wes.
Yeah, I don't know much about this other chick, Nadia Kasim. I think she beat Chambers last time out. But
that is the worst. That's the worst fighter in the entire.
Yeah, I kind of remember that fight, but De La Rosa is actually fairly decent. Still young. She did pretty good on the Ultimate Fighter. They're just, man, they all suck. I think De La Rosa just sucks a little less. I'm not laying minus 255 any kind of money. I'm sure Sean's overs look like they might be back a little bit, so that's probably the angle to take on this fight for sure. But De La Rosa's the pick. I'm not betting anything.
All right, new Sean.
You know the deal. I took goes the distance. I took it at minus 150 for a unit. It's actually come down a bit. It's minus 130 now. I know De La Rosa has a bunch of subs, but it's an auto play for me. When it's close, when it's that cheap of a price, if you can finish a chick, then props to you. But I'll take my odds on that one. De La Rosa wins by decision.
Okay. By decision. All right, I got De La Rosa C-, Kasem a D+. I mean, Kasem, pretty formidable on the feet, but De La Rosa is a really good scrambler. That was a pretty good submission game. When she gets the fight to the ground, I think that's the difference. I'll take De La Rosa via grappling. No bet here. 3 fights left. This one's intriguing. I think this one's probably one of the closer ones on the card as well. We got Ricky, I'm going to call him Simon, taking on
Simon.
Simon.
Oui.
Simon.
Simon.
DJ's like, I'm not saying that. It's Simon, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's totally a Simon. Simon says, all right, taking on our dude, Hani Yaya. Wes, are you going back on the Yaya Express?
Yeah, I mean, I think
boy.
I think he's being a little underrated here, man. I know Simone is he's young, man. He's on the come up. That was a really good fight against a really good dude, Montel Jackson, last time out.
Sorry, Montel Jackson.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty good fight, a good performance by him. But I mean that's about it. I mean, Yaga's lost like one fight in the past 5 years, dude. That's pretty good at this level. He's usually around a 2-1 fave in most of his fights against guys like this, and you're getting him at plus money in this spot. He's probably going to get this to the mat once or twice in the first round or two. So, I mean, you think Simone could survive that? Man, he's a fucking beast when this hits the mat. So, I took a little chance, man. I got plus 120. Nothing big here. It's a close fight. I mean, Simone could keep this up long enough to get Yaya out of there, but I think it hits the mat at one point, and that's trouble for almost anybody against Yaya. So, yeah, plus 120 here, small.
Nishan, are you on Yaya as well?
I'm not on either of these guys at this point. I do think this is kind of a close fight, but I do think Yaya is kind of underrated just because of his style, and he's another one of those guys who, and if he can get you down, it's usually bad news for you, and you're usually gonna be tapping. Yaya by decision, open plus 270. If you grab that, congrats to you. I wish I would have grabbed that. Even when it dropped down to 225, I think that had a decent amount of value there. It's plus 179. I'd rather just kind of play it straight at that point. Play Yaya straight. I know damn near all of his wins come by sub. He does have some decision wins, but he's definitely not going to knock you out. So, I think he can get Simon down, and usually that means that Yaya is going to win. So I'll pick Yaya. If the line moves a bunch, then I'll play him. But I also know that Yaya is getting old. He's on a good streak right now, but he's 34 years old. This is a smaller weight class. It's a bit worrisome, especially he has 35 professional fights, so that kind of scares me. So that's why no bet right now, but we'll watch the line.
Yeah, Yaya inside the distance is about 13 cents better than Yaya by sub, if that's a route you're thinking about going on 5 dimes. So
yeah, always
check that.
I got Ricky Simone, we'll call him for you guys a C, Hani Yaya C minus. I mean, I feel like I've picked against Yaya more than I feel like it's like. Yeah, my record on his fights not good. I really do think that most of the guys he faces, he's not as good as, but he kind of has one of those styles where he's kind of tough to deal with, and maybe his all around skill set's not amazing, but yeah, he's a pretty darn good grappler, especially from top position. I do think Ricky is a guy that, he's resilient and he'll kind of push off, and he's got a good gas tank, and I think that's kind of a scenario where Yaya really struggles. So I'm going to pick Ricky, but I have a feeling I will lose just because. I can't go against it now. Let's get to where we really want to talk about. Spend a few minutes here. Israel last style bender Adesanya taking on Anderson the Spider Silva, which seems like a fight I wish happened a little earlier, just because. But it's kind of like old school versus new school, kind of like maybe Federer versus Sampras kind of a thing. No, I don't know. How's that feel to it, Wes?
Yeah, I kind of like that analogy, but. I think you're probably seeing it at that stage too. It would be like Sampras walking out at this age against Federer right now.
Yeah.
It's man, I don't like this for Anderson at all. This is like a really, really bad fight for him. I have that feeling, man. I've seen people talking about, even Daniel Cormier didn't Daniel Cormier beat the shit out of him and really respects the guy too. I think Cormier didn't want to hurt him bad. He could have. I don't think I think Brunson probably won that fight. I know
he did.
It was a pretty bad decision. I mean. Dude's 43, man. He's popped for PEDs a couple times now, late. And hell, man, just take all that out of it. On the other side, I'm not even sure Prime Anderson, beats Adesanya. Honestly, the dude's for real. He's a badass, and I think he gets a finish here, man. I think he knows what's on the line. The hype that comes with finishing Silva, no matter what stage of his career, the kind of recognition he'll get, it's going to move him closer to getting that title shot. And I think it's going to be bad here. And I'm just hoping it's not too bad. I hope it's not broken leg night, shocking, bad on Silva here. But I got a feeling that he gets finished in devastating fashion. Something crazy, and Stylebender's the man. I think we've been talking about him for a couple years now, and I'm not sure you could probably call this his coming out party, but it's probably going to be the most eyes on him ever, being on ESPN and everything, pay-per-view, and all the ESPN coverage now. So, yeah, it's going to be a big night for Stylebender, I think. And, I put him in some stuff on the money line, and also like him inside the distance. I believe it was minus 140 something when I played it. It's still right around there. Finish. I've seen some people think that it goes to decision, but I think late he'll get him with something in the second or third round.
All right, New Sean, thoughts on the co-main event?
Yeah, this might be tough to watch. Anderson's style relies so much on reacting and reflexes and stuff like that, and as we've seen, it's just not what it used to be. He's 43. I thought he lost that Brunson fight, and that was a Brunson that basically didn't do a whole hell of a lot because he was worried about Anderson Silva. But Adesanya is just streaking right now. He's so confident. He's just so fucking good. The only thing that could be weird in this fight, they're both kind of counter strikers, and as we've seen in the past, when that kind of happens, there can be a feeling out process that takes a bit. But Adesanya is just an elite level striker, and I think he knows what is on the line here. If he finishes Anderson, he's getting the title shot, and and if that's the case, he's got a title shot without ever having to fight a real wrestler. And if he loses, it's going to be a tough way back to the title. So I think he knows how important this is. He's not going to take Anderson lightly. I think he's just going to go in and do his thing. I got him in a bunch of parlays. I got him in a 2-unit parlay with Bader from the Fedor fight, and then
I do too.
John Jones that's coming up. I also got him in another parlay with John Jones and Ben Askren. That one I got him at minus 385. That was a nice number at a random look.
Very nice.
And then I also took fight doesn't go to decision. I put that, and I got that at minus 170. I put it in a parlay with the France goes to decision, so that comes out to like plus 150. What is it? Plus 152. That was 1 unit. I do think there might be a little bit of a feeling out process in the first round, but Adesanya's striking is so clean. He has been tagged before and shown a good chin, so I think he figures Anderson out and hits that degraded chin, and it's going to be all over in the second.
Yeah, I've had Adesanya an A- and Anderson Silva a C+. Anderson Silva is well into his 40s now, and he's clearly not even close to the same fighter he was at one point. I mean, he slowed down. His chin isn't as strong as it was. It's just not going to happen. Better striker at this point in time, a sure fighter, a younger fighter. This would be one of the biggest upsets in recent memory if he outstruck this kid, who was an elite kickboxer before he made it to UFC. So Adesanya wins. I tend to agree. It's likely by a finish as well. This seems like I guess it's kind of cool to see, but I don't know.
It's bad. I think it's bad, man. It's not good. Like Anderson, like Sean said, his whole game has always been like reaction and those counter kicks and those counter punches.
Sure.
The speed and reaction it's not there. And then you're talking about going against this dude. It's just this guy's like he's built in a striking lab. I mean, it's that good. The shit is that good, and he doesn't have to worry about Anderson like taking him down and submitting him or anything. Like, this is going to be bad, man. And I think Anderson is definitely a legend in this sport and one of the best. But I think people it might sound crazy, but I think people slightly overrate Anderson Silva. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's really good, but man, there's pride fights and stuff where that dude just got taken down at will, and Rio Chonin with the ankle lock on him. And, I mean, if you compare his title run with Bones' title run, and people used to argue that it was better, that is just absolutely laughable. Anderson was beating up on fucking the Patrick Cotes and the fucking Talus ladies and shit. And John Jones is choking out Machida and Shogun and just all the top guys. It was just, I think it don't get me wrong, he's one of the best, man. He's an absolute legend in the sport, but I think people slightly overrate Anderson Silva just a little bit.
Probably right. Obviously, excitement and just because he's a striking guru. I think people always have a bias towards the strikers versus wrestler, grappler type of fighters. Main event time.
Good one.
We got the middleweight championship of the world. Robert Whittaker returning after, I don't know how he survived against Yolo. Defending his title against former Tough. Actually, both these guys won seasons of Tough, so that's pretty cool. Kelvin Gastelum. Wes, what are your thoughts on this title fight at the Rod Laver Arena?
Yeah, I think this is it's a pretty good fight. Me personally, I don't think this fight is like, I don't want to say it's like not close, but I think Whittaker is just so much better than Gastelum. And I think Gastelum's pretty good. This is going to be a kickboxing match. And do we really think Kelvin Gastelum is a better striker than Robert Whittaker? Man, I don't think so, man. You could argue that, the wars with Romero. I mean, that's a fair argument. I'm sure those have taken a little bit of toll, but I mean, I can't see it, man. If that's kind of your angle of Gastelum getting them here, it's going to be a decent fight. I think Gastelum stays in there for a little bit, man. He's tough, but he gets hit, man. Gastelum's got some porous defense. This gets into the third, fourth round. I mean, we know Fatzalum's cardio history. So Whittaker's gone 5 hard with Romero twice. The first time on one leg. So I know he's going 5 hard rounds. Over 5 rounds, Whittaker's going to do enough to beat Kelvin Gastelum, in my opinion. I think he gets Gastelum out of their third or fourth round. I just think the pace that Whittaker puts up is going to be too much for Gastelum. Should be a good fight, though. I respect Gastelum. I think that guy's turned into a really good fighter, but he was always going to be better down at 170, man. He's a small 185er. We seen what Weidman did to him at 185. He was just too small. He's going to be small here. So yeah, I like Whittaker. I got Whittaker in a couple things, money line, and I think he gets a late finish.
Okay, Nushan, I think maybe you might have a different take on this.
Yeah, he does. Finally, we got some disagreement.
Yeah, I'm all in on Gastelum. I think this is the perfect matchup at middleweight for Gastelum. He does not have to worry about a takedown whatsoever. Against Jacare, he did. Against Weidman, obviously, we know how that ended up. And it took until the third round for Weidman to even get him, and he cracked Weidman in that fight. So with Gastelum not having to worry about a takedown whatsoever, he can let his hands fly, and he has really good hands.
Better than Whittaker, though?
I don't know if it's going to be better, but he has good hands and he has power. Not saying that
he has a better chin.
And he has definitely a better chin than Whittaker. Gastelum gets hit. That's a fair statement. He has been rocked before, but not many times. He's shown a very, very good chin. Whittaker has been in 2 back-to-back wars with Yolo and got dropped in both of those fights. Whittaker is always hurt. Who knows what he's bringing for injuries into this fight, because that dude is an absolute Band-Aid. With this being a pay-per-view and being in Australia, he I'm sure he is trying his darndest not to pull out of a fight, but I think Kelvin Gastelum can get him. Like I said, the whole not having to worry whatsoever. Whittaker's not going to shoot a takedown. So this is going to be a purely striking fight, and I think Gastelum has a good shot. I'm not saying he's going to win every time. I just
Whittaker wants the striking fight too, though. So
no, that's 100%, and that's why this is going to be an awesome striking fight.
Yeah.
I just think the odds are off here. For sure, I give Whittaker the edge, a small edge in this fight. I just worry about his durability. He has been knocked out before. He's been knocked down a bunch lately. Gastelum does have good hands, and he does have power. If Gastelum can't get him out of there early, it is going to be a tougher win for him. I think his cardio is a bit over, or his cardio problems are a bit
better
over.
now at 85.
It's definitely better at 85.
Yeah.
And I think the problems were a little more related to wrestling, and I don't think he's not going to have to worry about that as much here. So yeah, I think Gastelum's got a shot. I took him on the money line at plus 230. It's come down a bit. I got 2 units at that, and I put a half unit on him inside the distance at plus 430, and that has dropped a bunch too. He's got a shot here. Not saying Whittaker, or not saying he's going to win every time, but I definitely think it's.
You got the price.
I think it's closer to a maybe 55, 60, 40 fight than what the odds indicate. So I'll take my shot there, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a fun one, because I don't think there's gonna be much grappling. So I think somebody's going down.
Yeah, I got Gastelum an A-, Robert Whittaker an A. There's certainly real questions about Whittaker moving forward with injuries, how many times he's been hit, especially in the Yoel Romero fight. Gastelum's got really good footwork and hand speed, so I think he can easily contend with Whittaker on the feet, at least in comparison to some other fighters, and he has a better gas tank than Yoel had as well. He's not just going to give away rounds like Yoel would, so I think there's a pretty good opportunity here for Gastelum to potentially win the fight. But Whittaker, has a pretty devastating right hand. I think we have to remember that both these fighters have fought at welterweight before, so they're both smaller for the division. So is there going to be any real size differences? I think
Whittaker is definitely a bigger guy, though. Whittaker,
Absolutely.
I think, should be a 185er, and I think Gastelum should be a 170er.
Gastelum
could
make 170 consistently because he didn't have the discipline.
Yeah,
Whittaker couldn't.
I think their body structures are definitely different weight classes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen both guys deliver knockout power before. So I think this is a pretty intriguing fight. I think at full health, I would side with Whittaker. But there are questions for me. Definitely more about Whittaker than for Gastelum. So I'm kind of leaning towards Gastelum at the current odds. I definitely think it should be, closer line than what it is. So that's my take, and that's just about
fight. It is.
Yeah, it's a good one. So that just about does it for this week's episode. We'll see what happens. Second pay-per-view of the year, and then next week, first ever UFC on ESPN card with Kane taking on Ngannou.
Don't
he still ain't made that walk.
Ain't happening. Don't
still
tell
ain't
me.
Made that.
We're not going to talk about it until next week.
Fine. We won't talk about it till next week. All right. That's it. So we'll be back next week. Enjoy the pay-per-view, and I don't know. That's it. I can't even tell you who to root for. We got dissension in the main event, and
it'll be a fun discussion next week.
Now, if Anderson Silva somehow wins this fight, then we'll definitely have a really discussion.
Chaos.
Yeah, that would be the chaos hour. All right. Until then, enjoy the fights.